Welcome to Comadres y Comics. Comadres y Comics is a podcast hosted by 3 Latina women.
We highlight the Latinx presence in the comic book industry as creators, characters, and fans.
Join us as we talk chisme, comics, fandom, and beer. Welcome, guys, to a new episode of Comadres y Comics. This is episode 265. We are your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Welcome back, ladies. It's spooky season.
Yes, it's my freaking time of the year. I was at work on, what was it, the 1st, and I didn't realize it was October, but I was like, I could feel it in the air because I was in such a fucking good mood. I raked in the tips. And then everybody was just like, wow, you're starting off October strong. And I was just like, yeah, the fuck I am. This is my fucking month. This is my time to shine.
It's my time to shine. Oh, yeah, no, I love it. Gosh, even the weather just feels a little different. It just feels so good. I'm seeing all my tree, like, just shed all its leaves, and now I have to rake them. But I'm going to do it with a smile because I got these really cool plastic bags that have, like, Halloween-y pictures on them. So when you fill them up, you can put them and display them. You display your trash as in a Halloween-y season celebration.
Yay. Cool.
Yay.
Display your trash.
Yeah. Display my trash. Love my trash. So yeah. Only thing though is I'm getting a little anxious because I have to pull out all my decorations and put them up and stuff. And it just feels a little overwhelming because there's a lot going on in my professional life. Professional. But it's exciting, so I'm very excited. I'm hoping this year to have like a really great altar and have a little bit more food and drinks for our guests, so that's very exciting. You can check out my Jack here in the corner.
Yes,
I painted
very
Jack
cool.
because he was a little sun dried, but he looks ready to go, so I'm excited. I'm gonna put all that hay in the body and then display them, so like that's gonna be great. I always get excited about that.
Where do you get hay from?
I actually bought this bale of hay at the Dollar Tree. For some reason, they had like one bale left, and I never saw bales there. But I'm like, I might as well get it because I'm not gonna find it.
Yeah.
The only place I used to find it was Joanne's, but R.I.P. Joanne.
Yeah.
I do miss you this Halloween season because I used to walk those corridors and see all this cool stuff, and like I went to Michael's and it's not the same. I did see a skeleton with the kind of a disco ball effect, and I really liked it, but of course it's like $80. I can't afford that shit. But it looked really cool. What about you, Kristen? Somebody's gonna be celebrating an anniversary.
Yeah, so Halloween is my actual wedding anniversary. And so every year we try to do something where we either go out to dinner or have some kind of fun event. One year we went to downtown to one of those old vintage retro Los Angeles theaters on Broadway. And they were doing a presentation of Psycho, but with a live orchestra, and that was super cool. And I realized I don't think I had ever seen Psycho all the way through before. So try to do that kind of fun thing. When we were younger, so much younger than today, we had a tradition of going to Not Scary Farm. But that ended very quickly since since I met Eddie when I was like 30 or something. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, we enjoy the Halloween spooky season as well. And of course, it is going to be very soon that we're going to be starting to work on opening and getting everything ready for the new shop. So we would have already been a little bit further along than we are today, but all of our lenders who tried to wire us money or somehow transfer money all had issues. So we're ending up having to actually 2025 actually get real life checks from these people because the technology was not technology-ing. So so that put us behind a little bit, but we'll definitely update you as things move along.
That's super awesome. Also, we just went to LA Comic Con and we were able to go into the spooky area of the convention. They had like spooky stuff, jewelry, bones, masks, uh, outfits. It was really, really cool. But the cool part is they had a maze, a
Yeah.
small maze. But I haven't gone in a maze in a very long time, and just being in the maze and being surprised and scared was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And we had a hot dog wrapped in bacon for breakfast for the breakfast of champions, I would
Yep.
say. But we had such a great time. Such a great time. Also, Kristen, please can you tell the audience about the auction that'll be happening for the new comic shop?
Okay, so Eddie and I originally had a goal of $150,000 to fundraise, and we were able to reach 65,000 over 3 lenders, and in our budget we realized that we probably could make do with 100,000. So what we're decided to do is we came up with this idea of having kind of like a before we're open, like fundraising event. So we probably won't even have everything fixed or fixed up inside the shop the way we want to. But in November, we are looking to have a fundraising event. So one of the things I was doing at LA Comic Con was talking to creators and talking to people, gauging their interest of whether or not they'd be willing to come and attend or participate in some way, shape, or form. And one of the creators that we stopped and spoke to was Sarah's longtime BFF, David Mack, and he weirdly enough was sitting all by himself. There was no one at his table, so we walked up and we just started talking to him. And Sarah mentioned about how I used to co-own Heidi Ho and that we're reopening, and I mentioned to him about the fundraiser event. He said, oh, well, you want to take something now? And I hadn't even really like gotten into the pitch or anything. He was like, oh yeah. So he took out this collection of 12 prints that he had, all from covers that he's done over the past years, and he signed them all, and he even signed the cover of the package. And as he was waiting for them all to dry, he was just talking, and then people started coming up and just telling them how much they love his work, and how one girl came up and said she had worked on some project, I can't remember what it was, that he also worked on. So they were talking, and he's just a really nice guy. And so he was our very first donor. So we will have prints signed by David Mack as some of our silent auction offerings at this fundraising event. So what's 100 minus 65? So 70, whatever that is how much we are going to try to fundraise. And we're going to start looking for more people to donate stuff. We're also looking at maybe having an art show and doing like some stand-up comedy show. I don't know. We're going to go all out, and it's all going to be for us to try to raise some extra money to fill that gap, that deficit that we didn't raise. So keep your ears and eyes peeled for more information on that.
Absolutely. I'm very excited.
Sounds so cool.
And how generous of David Mack to be just like, oh, let me contribute like right away. Like it was just really, really, really cool. I've known him to be so very kind, but this was just like, it blew my mind all over again. So thanks so much to David Mack for that. And I was just like, it restores my faith in humanity and how like we believe in a cause, and how we're very excited for you guys in the shop as well. All right, guys, now it's time for Chisme de la Semana. And I got some chisme. It's juicy, guys. It's free. I feel that it's juicy. So, Nerds for Literacy fundraiser, guys. They raised when they closed was $115,000 from everybody that contributed to this fundraiser. So that is amazing in itself. But then all of a sudden, an anonymous donor came in out of the woodwork, contacted them, and contributed $50,000. So the grand total
Wow.
is $165,000 to Nerds for Literacy, which means putting a lot of books and resources in the hands of kids that want to read and just don't have the resources to get books or find books or anything like that. So I'm super excited for them, and it's anonymous, so we don't know who did it. I'm thinking Kendrick Lamar. I don't know. I don't know. but it's
Sounds
super
really
exciting.
cool.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm excited that Comadres y Comics was a part of contributing to the fundraiser, and I hope that our listeners out there and there was small contributions. I saw some $20, some $5. I mean, it took a little bit from a lot of people that believed in this cause, and I think that's the most amazing thing, that the nerd community came together and saw this as an opportunity to give to others, and I thought that was amazing.
Yay.
All right, guys, now it's time for On My Radar. Kristen, what is on your radar?
So, on my radar this week is a comic book called Galactic. And it's being published by DSTLRY. And the reason I say that is because when they came out, it was their big shtick thing that everything was what's it called? Not premium. The bigger size comics, but it's called something, but now I don't remember what it's called. Not prestige
magazine?
either. No, bigger than that. But that's their thing. Their books are big. And I used to complain because it would take up so much space on the wall. Then we couldn't put them in back issue.
Bags. Yes.
Yeah.
Can't even put them in baggies.
No, and so back issue, you had to turn them sideways, and so then they took so much space. And then our customers who wanted the books because the story sounded interesting also were complaining because they couldn't put them in anything. So,
No
so anyway,
boxes.
this is from them. But this is a series debut. The writer is Curt Pires, and the artist is Amilcar Pinna, and he is from Brazil, so he's a Latino artist. And it says, "What if George Lucas and Quentin Tarantino fucked and had a baby?"
Wow, the hate sex must have been intense. Wow.
Oh my God.
Who cares?
That baby would be Curt Pires and Amilcar Pinna's Galactic, an ultra-violent interstellar romance that tells the story of a roguish bounty hunter hired to bring back a princess on a deathbender on a hippie planet, and inadvertently find themselves caught in the crossfire of an intergalactic war. And maybe, just maybe, falling in love along the way. Did we mention there's a talking dog who pilots the starship? This is for fans of Star Wars, saga, and sex criminals. So it is going to be issue number 1 coming out. It is going to be $8.99 for this first issue. And it's on FOC this week. So that means if you're listening to this, it was on FOC after you already listened. But you can still contact your local comic shop and have them order. So this was September 24th comic shop news, which means that next week is when it was on FOC, which is this week. So this last Monday, I guess. But you can still let them know. They might have already ordered it. Let them know you want it on your pool, or ask them if they can just order it if there's still copies available. So that's Galactic number 1 by DSTLRY.
All right, guys, it's that time again, that time of year. It's spooky season, and that brings us to our segment called Trastorno de Pánico. That's an echo. Like, anyway, guys, I saw this movie last year, and I was gonna put it on my Trastorno de Pánico list of movies that you could watch. These are movies that are obviously horror movies for the season, but they're in Spanish.
Mhm.
So that's a highlight on Spanish language horror movies. And I saw it last year, but I didn't rewatch it because it's horrific. So it's called Trauma, and it's by Lucio R. Rojas, and you can watch this
Mm.
movie on Amazon. It is a movie from Chile. It actually takes place, part of it,
Wow.
during the Pinochet Chilean
Mm.
era.
Mhm.
But let me tell you guys, this one is not for the faint of heart. And I know a lot of people say this, but I absolutely do. And I like gore. I'm a gore lover. I mean, when we go to Nicaragua and they kill a pig for our food, I don't mind watching the slaying of the pig, because I have the stomach for it. But I
Mhm.
do
Because
not have the
bacon.
stomach because
Because
bacon.
bacon.
Yes,
Yeah.
carnitas. Are you kidding me?
Or like
Chicharrón.
like
Chicharrón.
yeah. Or
Like,
it's like one of those
we.
things where I'm like, when they take out blood, I like watching them take out the blood. And
Mm-hmm,
I'm just all
mm-hmm.
like, nice. But I know several people who are just like, I can't do needles, and I'm just like, it's fine. Stop being
Yeah,
a
and then they have
baby.
tattoos, and you're like, what?
I know,
but
right?
but this movie is so fucking disgusting. It's worse than The Hills Have Eyes in the most disgusting parts of it, and I couldn't rewatch it for that reason. But
Wow.
I do remember it's burned in my head now forever. Thanks, thanks,
And
thanks,
now she
Hispanic.
wants to traumatize all of you listeners.
Of course. Duh.
Honestly, I tried to watch a movie last night to kind of replace the very first movie, but I fell asleep because I'm so exhausted. And so I was like, "Well, I gotta pull this one out of the catacombs and ¿cómo se llama? As this segment arises from the depths of the darkness." But this is a movie that came out in 2017. It's a Chilean horror film. It's available, I get, like I said, on Amazon Prime. The synopsis is: the story follows four women on a weekend getaway to a rural village in Chile. They are brutally attacked by a man and his son, forcing them to seek revenge and uncover a disturbing link of the country's dark political history under the Pinochet dictatorship. Um, the movie is known for its extreme and graphic, controversial content, which critics have compared it to a Serbian film, which I've never watched. Um,
Wow.
Which one?
the director again is Lucio Arrojas.
Mhm.
I want to let you guys know that the story is very compelling. Actually, it was very well done story wise. It's really an amazing piece of art. It's really creepy in some points, but the things that they film on, and it's a lot of sexual violence
Mm.
in the
Mm.
worst way.
As soon as you said four women, my mind already knew that's what was going to be the
Yeah,
issue.
and I was
Mhm.
like, I know that it's fake and whatever, but it was just really traumatizing. So
Mhm.
if you want to one up people out there that say that they're like horror movie experts, you may want to take a visit to Trauma Land. But yes,
Mhm.
that is my pick for this week. um I don't know why, because it's scary as fuck.
Here's
I'm scared of it. I'm scared of it, guys. I won't watch it again.
I mean, that makes sense for you, that it is, and it is like a horrifying subject, but I do find like there are some, especially when they try um um like violence against women with like dictatorships and stuff like that, like the play on like horror, like the horror genre as like myth but also reality is very interesting. It kind of reminds me of like the La Llorona movie, not the one that was made by Fox, but the one that was tied to the Guatemalan dictatorship and the
Right.
ex-president,
Mhm.
who was again a dictator and was going to be tried for his murder and atrocities against the indigenous Maya in his own country. And again, there was a lot of violence and also like violence against children and like and stuff like that. But it was such a compelling, like it is one of my favorite movies. Like it's horrifying and I get really sad and depressed every time I like think about it or like rewatch it, but also it's so compelling. And I'm guessing it's probably something like that as well. It's the tying of like history and violence, but also as a way to like be able to, I guess, sort of consume this kind of like history in a way. It is through the horror lens. And do I wish there was the portrayal of violence against women? Not really, but at the same time, there's so many allusions to rape, but there is like is especially with something this visceral as well, and touchy. Sometimes the only way to display is through the actual depiction as well. And there is something therapeutic also if they do get their revenge, and that it is also violent and bloody and gory as well.
And I'd also like to add, there's not only violence against women, there's also violence against men in this movie. So it's
Equality.
Violence for everyone. Violence and horror for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. I'm actually now very intrigued and curious. So when I sit over the next week and say I'm gonna watch something, let's see if I remember to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, like within the first 10 minutes, you'll know if you're gonna continue or not. Most absolutely, definitely. I think I had to pause and take a moment and turn about the room.
I'm pretty desensitized to that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see how far I get.
Yeah. And to some extent, like I am as well, or not desensitized, but I can like sort of like like the whole like suspension of disbelief. Not really. It's like more like me interacting as like not, I don't even want to say consumer, but as someone who enjoys like horror or like an appreciator of art or whatever. I can kind of like put that distance between me and the content sometimes. So we'll see if that can jerk me out of that.
Oh, I would love some feedback.
We'll report back.
Definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So again, that's on Amazon Prime, Trauma by director Lucio A. Rojas on Amazon Prime again. And that
We're all going to be walking out with trauma after it.
I
know. Yes, and that has been Trastorno de Pánico. Alright guys, now it's time for our book review. What are we reviewing today? I don't have the book, you guys have the book, so if you can let us know the synopsis on the back of the literature. Si se puede by Julio Anta.
I can read though that it has this little blurb on the back. A dynamic and vital graphic novel of the Latino luminaries who have shaped and defined United States history. From community activism to the halls of government, pop culture, arts, and beyond, Latinos have shaped every aspect of American life. In Si Se Puede, named after the Yes We Can motto of the United Farm Workers, we follow a group of Hispanic Americans on an interactive museum tour to meet Latino heroes throughout history. The immersive exhibit allows the groups to virtually travel through time, where they march with Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta in the farm workers' struggle, cheer on baseball legend Roberto Clemente, go to space with Ellen Ochoa, the first Latina to leave Earth's atmosphere, meet the youngest woman to ever serve in Congress, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and more. Through the tour, this ensemble of unlikely friends discovers the rich history of Latinos in the United States and gains new insights into their own American experiences. Si Se Puede shines a spotlight on the often overlooked Latino heroes throughout U.S. history, bringing their stories to vibrant life through the sequential action, illustrated characters, and lush color palette of a graphic novel.
That's it, guys. That has been our book review. Guys, a lot of the back matter. Wow, that's really long.
Hey, I tried to read it quickly, okay?
No, I'm just saying that I didn't realize it was so long. I should have said it.
Sarah has one signed to her. I'm using hers. I'm borrowing hers. But Where did you buy your copy?
I actually bought it at San Diego Comic Con. I saw he had this one,
Wow.
and then he had another one. I think. Oh, I can only remember the cover. It's kind of like the journey. No, not the journey. But anyway, it wasn't even out yet. He was just kind of displaying
Mm,
what was going to be coming in the future, and I was like, "Can I just buy one?" And he's like, "No, no, this isn't out yet." I'm like,
yeah.
"Okay, so I'll just get this one." But it was really, really interesting, and the artist was there, I believe, for the other book that was coming out. That's actually already out. It was at LA Comic Con this weekend, but yeah, I got to talk to him for a little bit, and he signed my book, so it was really cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Usually,
Okay. Was it Speak Up Santiago?
no, no. Actually, he did also have that at this table, which is really cool because that one is in English and Spanish. So that
Oh,
already
that's cool.
that also drew my attention. But it's kind of a blue cover in the front, and I think they're looking up at the sky. Um, the character in the front of the cover. But anyways, this book I really really enjoyed it. I enjoyed kind of like you know that I love books where you learn things, and so like I learned about race versus ethnic groups, which I thought was really interesting. Also, Latinx, Latine, and in the assignment of gender with the what we identify this, or as a lot we were arguing in the last episode about Hispanic Heritage Month versus Latinx Heritage Month, and that kind of thing. So I thought that was really a good kind of opening to the whole story. um um love the whole, starting from like the Aztec and Tenochtitlan, and just kind of going from there on to introduce us to a lot of people that shaped the United States of America. What did you guys think?
Hmm.
Well, oh,
You go
I
ahead,
just,
Kristen.
before you go, I just wanted to point out that the book is separated into separate sections
Mhm.
of kind of the Latinos where in American history they excelled. So the first chapter is just talking about a diverse and unique history about how Latinos um, like, I don't want to say came here because we were here, but
Yes.
just the diversity of the different nationalities that all make up Latinidad, and then talking all the way back about the Latino Union soldiers of the Civil War, which I actually found very interesting,
Hmm.
definitely, and then going through to the United Farm Workers and the strikes with Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, and then through sports, the main character or the main person that they talked about was Roberto Clemente, which I didn't know that he died so tragically. I had heard
Same,
about
yeah.
him and I knew him, but I didn't know that and on such a humanitarian mission. Like
Exactly.
that was really heartbreaking.
That was
Um,
crazy too. The
yeah.
fact that he had been trying to help, and
Hmm.
yeah, oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then it goes into science, and they highlight Latino scientists, and then just modern day trailblazers, which is where AOC comes in, and they talk
Hmm.
about a lot of Latinos that are up and comers and movers and shakers in society currently. And I actually appreciated how it was divided, and as Jen explained from the back description, this book is kind of a history book
Hmm.
of Latino representation and what they've attributed to American culture.
Yeah.
And what Julio and Yasmin have done is taken a school book and made it fit into a graphic novel by trying
Hmm.
to tell it through the story of characters who are listening to this history. And
Hmm.
honestly, I can't wait until museums like this exist. It was literally they walked through a door and they were in an immersive museum where they could see the things happening around them and actually like like almost participate in, even though they weren't really there. I thought that was super cool. And in this day and age, all you gotta do is put on a VR helmet, and you can absolutely do that. I thought that was amazing. Like, Julio needs to speak to whoever he needs to speak to make that freaking happen, because that's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it reminded me a little bit about the California Science Center. When you go into the Science Center and you go upstairs to the like exhibits and the stuff that they have right there, there is a part where you can walk in as you're heading towards the aquarium, where it kind of is like that. It's kind of like an involved, like they have stuff playing, like natural environments playing on the screen and the room itself. When I believe when they first launched it, the room would get cold when it would go into like the winter scenes and stuff like that, and then it'd warm up a little bit when it'd go to like the deserts, and then it like turn like humid when it was in like the rainy seasons. I don't like, or like they would spray like a little mist in the air. I don't think they do that anymore. But when I was reading it, it kind of reminded me of that. I'm just so like, oh, that's so cool. Another thing that I really liked about the book is this one. It had a bibliography and like documentaries and stuff like that, where you could, or like different resources that you could use to read if you were interested in any of the people that were in there. I found it. I loved it that he included Henry's La Voz de Mayo Tatarambo, and just how incredible that was, and that it got a blurb here because it was. I remember when Henry was first telling us about it, how we were just all like, we had never heard about this guy, but that it was truly like lost history, but it's stuff that was able to be uncovered. I thought that was really, really cool. So there was a lot of like really fun experimental aspects of this book that I really enjoyed, and I think it 100% is very fitting in a library or in like a classroom or like in an educational kind of setting as well.
Oh, yes, broken up in very small bits. Because this thing is very, very thick. You can get a whole month's worth of reading, and to be honest with you, it also took me some time to read it because I was Googling things that I was reading in here, getting more information. I was like, oh my God, I never knew that. And so I would Google and like get more information about it. And it really did introduce me to some things about some of these people that I had never heard of or didn't know about people I had. But it definitely should not be tried to be raced through when you're trying to read it in time to record your podcast.
It definitely deserves the time it's taken with. I read it at because we were supposed to record but as it tends to happen is that I take a nap, and then that nap turns into sleep, and then Sarah is blowing up my phone saying, "Where are you? We're recording."
Seven calls later.
Oh my God, I saw my phone afterwards and I was just all like, I slept through 7 missed calls. Like, god damn. But anyways, so I had a little bit more time to read this, and I'm really glad that I was that I had that time, because the book was 100. I learned some things as well, and mostly like the sports things as well, because I am not a big sports person. But I definitely did enjoy like reading about Clemente and the impact that he had, and the way that he died was truly tragic. I was just all like, oh, I just got to know this guy and he's dead. But,
I know.
Exactly.
And it was really fascinating, but that first part was very dry, or not even dry. To me, it was just a recap of information that I kind of already knew, or that's kind of covered in the Chicano class. But at the same time, because it's in this format, it is more accessible, and we're all about accessibility here. So definitely him making this and condensing this information, even putting the whole like argument. I'm not gonna lie, when I was rated that, I got annoyed in real time, and I was just all like, man, fuck this guy. And I was
What argument?
The Latine,
Oh,
Latinx. Yeah, because that in real life, that also pisses me off. I'm just like, you use Latino, Latina. I'm not stopping you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna use Latinx, and
Right.
then everybody's gonna be like, it should be Latino. I'm just like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna use Latinx.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, just to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, during the panel that Kristen moderated at LA Comic Con, that argument also came up with Lalo's
Why?
like, whatever we call ourselves, like we can't
Mhm.
even decide what we're going to call ourselves, and in 50 years, it's probably going to be something else. But
Yeah,
that's just language. There's always evolution. But yes, that argument was in this book, and I kind of laughed because I'm like,
it's always an argument.
we're gonna always be arguing about this. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It literally is like no one can, and I'm just like, you know what? We're a diverse group made of different Russian racial uh builds and like different like even different like ethnicities within ourselves of the make up the Latino super group or whatever it is. The and I like that they covered a little bit about the myth of the mono myth or the mono entity or whatever. There was a lot of stuff that was like touched on because it's a lot of content. There are whole college classrooms dedicated to it, and there's whole masters and PhDs, and still we're gonna be like, oh, there's more to be there's more to be discovered or more to be discussed and stuff like that. And I think Julio did a really great job of condensing all that information into like what, like 30 pages.
More than
And
30 pages.
I'm talking I'm talking about the first part.
Oh, the first
Yeah.
part. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah. It's like I can go on endlessly about the Latino Latinx like thing that we have going on because I'm not gonna call myself Chicana because I don't see myself as Chicana.
Right.
And then the whole like talking about it as like a political movement, which I understand, but at the same time, I'm just all like, not even now. If someone was to call themselves Chicano or Chicana, it's very old school as well.
Yes.
Because again,
Oh, absolutely.
language
Lalo
changes.
very proudly calls himself Chicano, and I'm like, you know what? I see that.
Yeah, I can see that too, and he's
Uh-huh.
very much like and I would call him Chicano too because he does give off that really old school activist like
Yes.
vibe as well because that's who it is. I feel the Latinx description very very well, and then anybody else who like chooses their own, it's personal. But at the end of the day, I guess we are really all Latino or whatever, and who knows? In 50 years, maybe it'll be something else that's gonna be weird and probably make me angry because I'll be old.
I'll never forget the time that girl came up to us and was like, "Oh, what are you here for?" and blah blah blah. And then she read our card and she was like, "Latin X." And then her demeanor completely did a 180. Why are you saying Latin X? And like we're trying to explain it to her, and she just started going off, and she threw the card on the table and walked away.
Yeah, I was like, "Do you want
It's
to
not
sticker?" And
for
she's like,
you.
"No." And she
LMAO.
was there arguing with her boyfriend, and they both had the same stance. And no matter what, they just didn't want to open the conversation. They just wanted to just spew whatever.
They wanted a vent. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
go talk to a mirror. I don't care.
Well,
And or that, oh my god, what was it? That one guy when I think it was LACC, he came and he was just all like, "Why do you guys lose Latinx? Like, what's your like? What makes you like a professional to be like this is what you're gonna call?" And I just looked at him and I was just like, "Well, I have a bachelor's degree in English and I've gone to school about this and I've wrote in papers about it, so I think that makes me pretty fucking qualified." And then he was just like, "Oh, I guess." What's your
Like,
fucking pedigree,
you
pendejo?
see my skin? It's brown. I can call myself whatever I want to.
Yeah. To me, like above all else, that is the like I'm gonna call myself Latinx. If you want to tell me what you call yourself as, I'll gladly. Again, it's almost like the pronoun debate all over
Yeah,
again.
exactly. Yeah.
It's just a, like, bro, let people choose whatever the fuck they want to call themselves. If you want to, like, whenever they say like, oh, someone identifies as a helicopter, then would you call them? Yes, I fucking would. You know what? I would. The homeless person over there who thinks themselves they're fucking King Charles the First or whatever, and you know what? I'll call him King Charles the First if it fucking makes him happy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit. Jesus Christ.
Well, I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that Chicano came from like a lot of the children of Mexican immigrants that came and would call themselves Mexican, and Mexicans were like, no, you're little Mexicans, so Chicanos, like Chiquitos Mexicanos,
Yeah.
which I,
Uh-huh.
which I thought was hilarious. But
I
one
know
of
it's
the things
probably an insult, but that sounds kind of cute.
but it stuck. Yeah, it
Yeah.
stuck.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I really liked about this book is learning a little bit of the history that Frank has told me about from his youth, particularly how
Mm-hmm.
America sent troops over to train the people over there and then overthrow the government in a coup. I was like, oh, this is why my husband would hide on the roof or in a hole in the ground so that he wouldn't be picked up and fight in some kind of battle that he didn't know anything about. So I thought that was really just kind of eye opening and stuff. And I specifically saw this line in the book that I really liked, and I'd like to read it if that's okay.
No.
I'm gonna read it anyway, damn it. It says, purposely or not, the United States has continually created the conditions that have forced people to flee their homes and come to the next safest place, which is here. And I thought, wow, that really resonated in a lot of the information that I've talked to my husband about and his family and a lot of the people that I've known to immigrate here. And it just rang so true for me and the people that I've had conversations with about immigration. So that just in itself was just like impactful while I read it. So
Yeah. Similarly, I probably on that very same page, there was a quote that I shared on our Facebook that said, you can track the largest surges of Latin American migration to the United States with America's most egregious exploits in those regions.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, yes,
100%
absolutely,
true. And
yeah.
it's crazy to me because it's or even like right now the whole like Bad Bunny doing the halftime show and people are being
Oh
like,
yes.
wow, Puerto Ricans are US citizens.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like if
Did
at least
you
anything.
hear Trump say how horrible it was to have Bad Bunny from the Mexico City of Puerto Rico?
My
From the
God.
Mexican city of Puerto Rico.
Oh,
He's not
no te
even
da vergüenza este
Mexican.
pendejo, hijo de. Mm, no tiene,
Which
no
is
conoce
just pinpointing and putting a big old spotlight on the fact that he's so fucking racist against Latinos that to
Mhm.
him everybody's Mexican.
Not only that, like I think this is just like like rage bait basically for trying to like add fuel to the fire of the current government shutdown. Like
Mm.
it's or they're trying to distract from that or whatever. And it's just all like in the end he's going to play no matter what and he's going to get paid for it and Puerto Rico Puerto Rico star gets owned. Here's the thing is that American football is such like it's mostly for Americans. Most of the people outside of the US do not watch American football
Mm-hmm.
because they watch the better sport, football. So it's like it's so funny when I see news saying like, oh, like America, like the biggest music stage. I'm just like, no, the biggest music stage is Eurovision. Like, be so for real right now. Like, we're getting mad over nothing, over something, but at the same time, it's so very American to be worried about football over politics.
Right? Yep.
Like, ugh, ugh.
Well, if they were angry at Kendrick Lamar being the halftime show, they're really fuming right now, which makes me laugh.
Well, I don't think they were angry at that until he actually did it. And then they were like, what the fuck?
Oh, man.
Oh, so funny. But one of the things I wanted to actually, it's not a critique, but it's just kind of like a comment of maybe future books that may want to delve into this topic. But Of course, without a doubt, and I'm not denying whatsoever, the Cesar Chavez did a lot for the farm workers here in California, and then that went across the nation. And you know, there's no denying that he and Huerta were the precipice of a lot of change that was happening here in the United States for farm workers. But I really do think it's worth it to mention all the problematic things that happened with Cesar Chavez, and the things that he actually has been critiqued for since then. People standing up and saying, Dolores even herself, that it wasn't always, unicorns and rainbows. Like, he was a very problematic person. So I don't like when the bad things about people get swept under the rug because the good things are seen so, amazing or whatever. Because even, I don't know if it was in the book or when I was Googling, he was against illegal workers. He rallied and he worked against illegal farm workers. He fucking called, there was no ICE back then, but he called the whoever ICE was back then to deport them. So those are all things that are worth being said and mentioning, because I don't think it's fair to history to glorify and make it like he was so amazing, because he wasn't amazing in all aspects.
These stories.
Yep.
Which I get it. This book is supposed to be about uplifting and stuff like that, and to err is human, as they say. But at the same time, I think it's worth mentioning as well, because as I was reading it, I was just like, good on him for putting Dolores Huerta on equal footing with Cesar Chavez. But at the same time, I was expecting, there was some where I was just like, that's a little too clean for what we know of the person to be as.
Yeah, and for this book, I can see why he would leave that out, and that's why I'm saying this isn't a critique about this book. It's a critique about Cesar Chavez himself, and just in the future,
and his portrayal.
I'd love to see somebody actually portray it truthfully.
Right.
Yeah.
I also, in that sense, I also like how they talked about the Filipino workers.
Yes.
And that was because nobody really mentions it that much.
Yeah, they were the ones who started the strike.
I found that out when I read Henry Barajas' Dolores Huerta comic. So, just I like the fact that they're mentioning it more and having it be part of the story, which is true.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready to rate the book. What is our rating scale, Kristen?
So our rating scale is on a scale of 1 to 3 conchas. 3 conchas being the most conchas that Jen's mom ever let her eat in one sitting. So that was the best. And if a book is off of our rating scale, we will give it our own individualized rating. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm not going to lie. I struggled with this book because it was, again, I thought that I had so much time to read it, and so I was really trying to get through it, and then we ended up not recording at all, and I was like, darn it, I had more time. But I was really trying to get through it fast, and I don't think I did service to the book. There's so, I sent a message to Sarah, there's so many words. But the words, honestly, I did learn things, and there were things that were very, very, that resonated very much with me, so much so that I was thinking about them after, and I made that post about it. So I think Jen is right that it's a book perfect for a classroom and a library, or if you have more than just a couple hours to read it and you really give it the attention that it deserves, because there is so many good historical relevant facts in there about Latinos and what they've contributed to America. So for all of those reasons, I am going to give it 3 conchas. And I would recommend this to people to read, just not as quickly as I did.
Yes, absolutely. I actually knew that I was going to lend my copy to Kristen. And so therefore I actually read it right after work, and I finished reading it at 1 o'clock in the morning the next day. But I was taking notes along the way because I didn't want to, as an older woman, I sometimes forget certain things that I want to pinpoint. So I wrote notes on the book and what I wanted to discuss. And so I learned a lot, and I really love that. About books. I one of the fun facts I learned is Desi Arnaz was responsible for bringing the conga line to New
Yeah.
York.
Yeah, I didn't.
Now we
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Every
either.
cruise ship is a tribute to Desi Arnaz.
And a familiar cousin is La Víbora de la Mar at weddings. So that's cool. Have you guys ever done the Víbora de la Mar at weddings? It's sort of like the conga line.
I've never been to a wedding.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Wow.
Well, we gotta.
I go for the free food and drinks.
I go for the dancing.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about me that most of the company I keep is unmarried women.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. I also learned that Rita Moreno is an EGOT winner, which I didn't know was a big deal until she was the 3rd person who ever won it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's just amazing. Like the whole slew of awards to just create an EGOT person. I was like, wow, that's really freaking cool. But yeah, no, I really love that. I learned a lot about many things, about like the Cuban freaking swimmer. She earned like gold, silver, and bronze medals, and she like retired in like her 40s or something. I was like,
Yeah, she was the oldest Olympic swimmer. Yeah,
Amazonian status.
Crazy.
And then that one person who used math to decipher Nazi codes. What the fuck? Like, wow. Like, fucking top level shit. I was like in my feelings, like, my God. And I didn't know this guy, the guy who wrote The Heights wrote Hamilton. So anyway, I learned a lot is what I'm saying. And I just love this book, and I feel like everybody should read it and give it the time it needs. And the art was amazing as well. I just really enjoyed the art. Like the whole color palette was amazing. I'm going to give it 3 conchas and a cup of champurrado and maybe a little cup of cafecito de Puerto Rico también. What about you, Jen?
I am also going to give it 3 conchas and a cup of champurrado. It was really, I think it was really informative. It was really good, especially once we were reading about the subjects themselves, who it was. And I know that there's probably countless of other people. There's only so much you can put into. I feel like this book would have been actual textbook size. As is right now, it's like small textbook size. And it contains a lot of information and a lot of like nuanced things as well, for kind of a debrief of prominent Latino figures in American history. So don't ever let it be said I'm a full hater of America. I'm not. But I really enjoyed it. So 3 conchas for me.
Awesome, guys. That has been our book review. All right, guys. Now it's time for En la Librería. Jen, what do you have for us today?
So today I have for you Hairspray Magazine number 2, a comic anthology published by Carla Paloma. So this is issue number 2, and Carla Paloma is a Danish comic artist living in Berlin, and she also edits Hairspray Magazine. So the synopsis, or like the story campaign that they have right here, is Hairspray Magazine is a comic anthology published by me, Carla Paloma, in Berlin. It brings together a diverse range of artists from the underground comic scene. The aim of the magazine is to make a platform that gives more attention and visibility to their work. I also hope to create a space where we can support and inspire each other, organize together, and strengthen the international comic community. Right now, 12 artists are putting the finishing touches on their comics. This is what the cover of the second issue will look like. Drawing is by Marie Pez Caos. I think that's how it could be chaos, but I want to say chaos. Um, and then they have it's a very very underground comics with an X, uh, like inspired and looking, and literally what it says. It reminds me of that. Do you remember we had for the shop we had ordered this huge like anthology or like collection of
Oh yeah.
women's with a Y
Uh-huh.
comics anthology that shouted out like under like prominent women in the underground comic
Mhm.
scene.
Mhm.
This is kind of like a continuation of that from current underground comics creators.
Cool.
Um, Continuing what it says, with this Kickstarter, I am raising funds to cover the printing costs of the magazine and also to help finance a collaborative exhibition that will take place at Neurotitan Gallery in Berlin, April 2026. The exhibition is planned together with Fanatic Female Frustration Zine, a project dedicated to Aline Komsky Krum, with the aim of reviving and continuing the tradition of autobiographical feminist and or LGBTQIA plus comics. The two anthologies won the prize for Best Alternative Comic together at the Anglo-Main Comics Festival 2025. All artists featured in issue 1 and 2 of Hairspray and FFF Zine are invited to participate in the exhibition of Neurotitan Gallery. The goal of this Kickstarter is €2,500. This is the minimum amount needed to cover the printing cost of the anthology. If the goal is exceeded, extra funds will go towards covering the costs of the exhibition. The contributors for the second issue of Hairspray magazine are J. Webster Sharp from the UK, Zavka. It says PL, but I don't know what PL means. And there is a lot of names on here with where they're from, but TBH, some of these abbreviations, I don't know where they're from. The magazine will be printed in the same format and quality as issue 1, A4 size, 100 pages, and digitally printed in an edition of 500 copies. The cover will be in full color and the inside pages will be black and white. The release is planned for January 2026. And then they have previews and snippets of the works that are being put out. They have small intros to each of the artists as well, and it's a lot of it is like really really cool, and it has a very old school feel to it. But there are some like very modern looking ones as well, and there is one where there's a lady farting in a man's face. So it looks really really cool, really inspired, and so unique as well that I'm surprised I have never heard of this. So the goal was €2,500, which is roughly around 2,931 US dollars. They are currently at $1,998 with 48 backers and 13 days to go. You can always pledge without expecting a reward, but the base pledge does start at €22, which is about $26, and you get one copy of Hairspray number 2. The next tier up is €44, which is about $52, and it's 2 copies of Hairspray number 2. There's another tier that is €44, $52, which is both issues 1 and 2 of Hairspray as well, and those are the only 3 tiers that they have. So it's a little bit more on the expensive side, but I'm wondering how much that has to do with shipping and tariffs and costs like that. And this is just how this is our new reality right now. Mm-hmm. Anything that is international or internationally published and printed or made is going to be hit with a big old fee. So tragically that it's a little bit more on the expensive side, but I also think it is 100% worth it because it's really interesting. I feel like this is something that is 100% down in a few years going to be collected into that huge anthology set that is going to be some kind of historical importance of like women creating very political or very personal and very autobiographical queer and feminist works. So definitely check it out. It is Hairspray magazine number 2 by Carla Paloma. on
Nice.
Kickstarter.com.
All right, guys. Now it's time for Juntos y Fuertes. What do you have for us today, Kristen?
So, in the same idea as you have for your torstono, what is it? Trostono de pánico?
Yes.
I have 5 Gothic horror audiobooks for Latino Heritage Month. So, this is 5 books that have been created by Latino creators, and they are all available on the Penguin Random House audio app. You could probably listen to them on Audible or any other streaming service that you get your audiobooks from, but this is just all Penguin stuff, so this was from their website. So the first one is The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. From 1900s Mexico, the 1990s to 1990s Massachusetts, 3 women in 3 different eras encounter danger and witchcraft in this eerie multi-generational horror saga from the New York Times best-selling author of Mexican Gothic, narrated by Gisela Chipe. So this is The Bewitching. And I'm going to share this link. They have little audio snippets so that you can listen to some of the books as well. The next one is Myra by Nikki Gonzalez. Long listed for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize and read by award-winning narrator Frankie Corzo, Myra is a mesmerizing debut about friendship, desire, and memory set against the sultry backdrop of Florida's swamplands. And then we have The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. When a demonic presence awakens deep in a Mexican silver mine, the young woman it seizes must turn to the one man she shouldn't trust in this new novel from bestselling author Isabel Cañas, read by Carolina Hoyos and Anthony Ray Perez. Then we have Thirst by Marina, and this last name is it's Yuszczuk. That's not even close. But with echoes of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Thirst plays with the boundaries of the Gothic genre while exploring the limits of female agency, all-consuming desire, and the fragile vitality of even the most immortal of creatures. And this one is written by Maria Liatis. And lastly, The House on Biscayne Bay by Chanel Cleaton. As death stalks a Gothic mansion in Miami, the lives of 2 women intertwine as the past and present collide. In New York Times bestselling author Chanel Cleaton's atmospheric novel. This one is read by dual narrators Caroline Hewitt and Frankie Corzo. Oh, Frankie Corzo making his bag reading books. So anyway, that's 5 Gothic novels, all written by Latinos for Latino Heritage Month.
Oh my god, that sounds super amazing. I want to know more about this demon in the silver mine.
Right?
A little erotic, if you ask me. All right, guys, now it's time for saludos, and saludos goes out today to Road Montijo. Is it? I think Javier calls him Rody.
Yeah.
But I call him Road Montijo. I don't know. I apologize, Mr. Montijo. I would just call you Mr. Montijo because I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. But saludos goes out to you. And the reason is we're in spooky season, and he has, you know how there was a thing called Inktober back a few years back, and there was some controversy. Well, he has his own list that he created from the fantastical world of Road Montijo comes Phantasmical Halloween 2025. Sorry, guys. Anyways, the cool thing is it's all cool. There's a list of all 31 days, and he said you could either draw 1, 2, or all of them. Just have fun with it, and you can tag him using the hashtag FANTASMICALLOWEN.
Here's the list.
at 2025. Not at Halloween 2025, and he can. Oh, look at that list! It's so cute. And he's just been really amazing, sharing all the contributions to this year's Fantastic Halloween, and very very exciting. And this year I am participating, and also Kristen is participating. So check out our daily doodles towards this list. We've also put the list on our Instagram, so if you want to join in, please do so and tag Senor Road Montijo. It's at RHODEMONTIJO. So check that out. And he has amazing, cool Halloweeny stuff on his website. He has books. He has a cat clock from that looks like reminiscent to like the.
I have one right here.
Yes, and he has stickers and buttons and pins. So
and he also is the amazing writer of Bubblegum Girl.
Yes, he
Yes.
is. Yes, definitely. So check that out. He has a lot of cool stuff. Give him a follow on Instagram. Saludos goes out to him. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Where can they find us, Kristen?
You can find us at our website at comadresycomics.com, where we have links to all of our social media. You can also, if you're not already, watch us on YouTube. And if you want to reach out to us, you have something you'd like to share, you have a book that you've written that you might want us to read and review, you can send that to comadresycomics@gmail.com.
Excellent. And I also wanted to let you guys know that we will be releasing some interviews that we did at LA Comic Con of Latinx creators and vendors. It's going to be really cool, so check that out as well. Don't remember that we're doing the En las Calles of La Hora de la Cervecita, so keep an eye out for that. That is mostly going to be on YouTube, so check that out. Thank you so much for sharing these.
I'm sorry, that was an impulsive thought.
Callejeras, she said.
Callejeras.
So check that out. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us and listening to us. And please remember, if you want to learn more about anything, it's going to be in the description of our episode. So all that, all the links and the hashtags and everything are there for you to peruse and take that information as you will. But thank you so much for taking the time. We have been your host, I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Bye, guys.